This is Mike. Serena's beside me on the couch, eyes glued to the TV. The room feels heavier than usual, the silence stretching between us like a rope too taut to snap. I've been trying to get her attention for months, years maybe, but it never seems to matter. She's here, but not really. I can't shake the feeling that I'm alone, even when she's within arm's reach. We're 30 and 28, married 5 years. At one point, we couldn't keep our hands off each other. I remember it clearly: early mornings, late nights, spontaneity in the kitchen, in the car, everywhere. The passion we shared was relentless, the kind of chemistry that makes you believe you could conquer anything. But that was years ago. I sit on the edge of the couch, my body too stiff. She shifts beside me, but it's a movement, not a gesture. She doesn't touch me. Not anymore. I reach for her, desperate, and she shrugs me off with a small sigh. It doesn't hurt the way it once did, not in the same raw, visceral way. But it still stings. The constant, growing distance between us feels like an open wound I've tried to patch over, but nothing works. I've tried talking about it. I've tried to approach her calmly, without letting my frustration show too much. Serena, we need to talk about us, I say, looking over at her. I miss the way things used to be. She doesn't respond immediately. The silence lingers a moment too long, and when she does look at me, it's like she's snapping out of a trance. What do you mean? Her voice is soft, almost too soft, like she's not really listening. I shake my head. You know what I mean. We're not the same anymore. You don't touch me, you don't look at me like you used to. Her eyes dart away from mine, as if she's weighing whether or not to argue. I don't know, Mike. Things change. That's the problem. I mutter under my breath. You stopped caring. The words are out before I can take them back. I didn't mean to sound so harsh, but it's true, isn't it? I'm constantly giving, always giving, but there's nothing coming back. She's been emotionally distant for a while now. It's like I'm invisible to her, except when she needs something. She never reciprocates, not even in the smallest ways. We're supposed to be partners, but I'm doing everything: cooking, cleaning, taking care of the house, the kids. I take on the responsibilities she can't be bothered with, even though I'm the one who's exhausted. I do it because I want to hold on to something. I keep thinking if I try harder, maybe she'll come back to me. But nothing changes. And when I do get close, she pulls away. I'm starving for affection, but she's giving nothing. No intimacy, no warmth, not even a kiss goodbye when she leaves for work in the mornings. She's become a stranger in my own house, and I'm not sure when it happened. The physical distance between us mirrors the emotional chasm that's grown wider each year. I didn't start out this way. I didn't start out resenting her. But the more I give, the more she takes. It's never enough. I'm always the one initiating, always the one giving oral pleasure without it being reciprocated, always the one making the effort. I'm giving her everything I have, and she doesn't even notice. There was a time when I would have died for her to touch me. I'd beg her, almost. But now, I've grown used to the coldness. It's easier somehow. It's less painful to accept the fact that she doesn't want me any more than it is to keep hoping she'll come around. And the worst part? She's okay with it. It's like she's decided it's easier to just let me do everything while she checks out of our marriage. I'm the one carrying this relationship on my shoulders, while she's emotionally absent. One night, I can't take it anymore. I've spent so many nights lying awake, my mind racing with questions. Why don't you love me anymore? I try to talk to her again, voice steady but strained. You've been distant for so long. What happened to us? Her eyes flicker with annoyance. I don't know, Mike. I've been busy. I've got things on my mind. It's always things. Always some vague excuse that doesn't explain the hollow look in her eyes. I want to scream. Instead, I swallow the words. I'm tired of fighting, tired of begging. But somewhere deep down, I still hope she'll see me, still hope she'll come back to me. I keep waiting for her to see the man she married, the one she once loved, the one who could make her laugh until she cried. But I know better than that now. The man I was to her? He's gone. And the woman I fell in love with? She's disappeared, too. We've been through therapy twice now. I tell myself it's progress, but I can't shake the feeling that it's just a band-aid over a wound that keeps reopening. Serena, though, she's never fully invested. She shows up, sits in the chair, says the right things. But it's like she's playing a role, not trying to fix anything. I've talked to the therapist alone a couple of times, and even he can see it. You're giving everything you've got, Mike, he said last week. But she's not meeting you halfway. I nod. I know. I'm not sure what more you can do, he added, his voice sympathetic but blunt. I wish I had answers. I wish I could make her care the way I do, the way I'm desperate for her to. But the truth is, she's checked out. She's no longer trying. She's more interested in being comfortable than in fixing anything. I keep showing up, though, hoping that the next conversation will break through, hoping for some flicker of the woman I married. But it never comes. At home, the imbalance is glaring. I'm taking on everything, cleaning, cooking, running the errands. She's checked out, living in her world while I hold down the fort. Sometimes I can't help but feel like a servant. A dutiful one, but a servant nonetheless. I make dinner, make sure the kids have everything they need, help with their homework. I do it without complaint. I have to, right? If I don't, who will? Serena doesn't care. She's fine letting me handle it, even though she knows I'm burned out. And when I finally ask her to do something, anything, it's met with eye rolls or sighs. The other night she asked me to pick up her dry cleaning on my way home from work. I didn't say anything, just nodded. But inside, I was seething. I knew she had the time to do it herself, but she didn't even think twice about asking me. When I handed her the bag, she didn't even thank me. Just took it, and walked away like it was nothing. I'm doing everything. And she's not. The Thanksgiving dinner is where it all finally comes to a head. I've been working all day to make everything perfect. I want her to see me. I want to feel like she cares. I want her to notice the effort I put in. But as usual, it goes unnoticed. She's sitting at the table, sipping wine, scrolling through her phone. She's distant, detached. The kids are laughing and playing, but it's like she's in another world. I clear the plates after dinner, putting my best effort into making sure everything's spotless. Serena's on her third glass of wine by then, a slight slur in her voice as she starts making half-joking, half-insulting comments. I try to ignore it. But then she says it. "You've really outdone yourself this year, Mike," she says with a wicked smile. "I mean, it's like a real feast for one. Pity it's just me doing the heavy lifting around here." I freeze, the words slicing through me like a knife. The laughter in her voice stings, the wine fogging her perception even further. The kids are still giggling, unaware, but I'm stuck in this moment, frozen in disbelief. "I've been busting my ass for the last 2 days to make sure you're happy," I say, trying to keep the anger from seeping into my tone. "I'm tired, Serena. And this is how you repay me?" She shrugs, too drunk to care. "You like to play the martyr, Mike? You do this to yourself." And there it is. The first crack in the facade. She doesn't see me. Not the way I see her. She doesn't see the sacrifices I make, or the endless work I put in to keep our life running. She's not even aware of how much she's checked out. I walk away, grabbing my coat. The cold air hits me as soon as I step outside, but it doesn't clear the fog in my head. I stand there for a moment, leaning against the car, trying to breathe, trying to calm down. I keep telling myself this is temporary. It has to be. She's going through something. I'll fix it. I'll fix us. I always fix everything. But I know deep down that nothing is going to change. Not unless she wants it to. And I can't keep carrying this weight on my own. Something has to give. When I come back inside, she's passed out on the couch, still holding her empty wine glass. I stare at her, feeling a strange mixture of anger and pity. I want to yell, shake her awake, demand to know why she can't give me something, anything. But I don't. Instead, I pick up the glass, gently set it on the counter, and walk away. I've been doing everything. But it's never enough. And maybe, I'm finally starting to realize it never will be. It's the week after Thanksgiving. I'm sitting in the car outside the therapist's office, staring at the building. The thought of walking inside makes my stomach churn. I've been here enough times to know nothing's going to change, but I'm still holding on. Maybe today, I tell myself. Maybe today, she'll finally see it. I wait for Serena. She's late, of course. It's her usual MO these days, showing up late or not at all, but when I text her, she says she's coming. I sit there, half hoping she won't show up, half praying she will. When she finally gets in the car, her face is hard to read. She doesn't say a word. We drive in silence, and when we get to the office, she barely acknowledges me. We walk into the waiting room, and I feel the weight of the unspoken tension between us. The session is like all the others, stilted, uncomfortable, full of words that don't land. We sit there, talking in circles, while I'm trying my best to keep it together, but I can't ignore it anymore. She's not invested. She's just going through the motions, humoring me. I don't want to be here. She doesn't want to be here. I don't think I love you anymore, Mike, she says, finally breaking the silence. Her voice is calm, almost detached, as though she's saying something trivial. I freeze. My chest tightens. I've known it for a while, but hearing it out loud, hearing her say it, rips through me. What? The word comes out like a gasp, a plea for some kind of denial, but it's already too late. I don't love you the way I used to, she repeats, looking straight at the therapist now. It's just not there anymore. My mind races. The room feels like it's closing in. My body goes numb, but I don't react. I can't. All I can do is sit there, hearing her say it in the calmest tone, like it's just a minor inconvenience we'll get over. But this isn't minor. This is everything. I try to speak, but the words stick. So what now? She shrugs. I don't know. We've been through so much, and I don't think I can keep pretending. I'm not happy, Mike. Her eyes meet mine, but there's nothing there anymore. No remorse, no regret. Just a quiet acceptance that this is it. For the first time in what feels like forever, I'm not angry. I'm not sad. I'm just tired. Tired of fighting for something that's already gone. We leave the office without saying much. The cold air hits me the moment we step outside, and I feel it seeping into my bones. It's over. There's no going back from this. The drive home is brutal. Neither of us speaks, and the silence between us is deafening. When we get inside, I head straight to the living room. Serena follows, but there's no comfort in her presence anymore. She's distant, lost in her own thoughts, and I don't know if she even sees me anymore. I sit down on the couch, my hands in my lap. I don't know where to go from here. There's nothing left to fix. She's made it clear, she's done. We don't talk for the rest of the night. We sleep in separate rooms, like we've been doing for weeks. But this time, it's different. I'm not pretending anymore. I know what I have to do. The next morning, I start making plans. The kids need to be told. They don't understand what's happening, but they can feel it. The tension in the house, the coldness. They know something's wrong. I begin to pull together the details, talking to a lawyer, figuring out custody arrangements, the logistics of splitting up everything we've built. I feel a strange calm as I take those first steps. This is what's best for everyone, even if it feels like the hardest thing I've ever done. Later that day, Serena comes to me, her face different. There's a softness in her eyes that wasn't there before. Mike, I think we need to talk, she says, sitting down next to me. I'm done talking, I reply, my voice flat. Her face falls, but she doesn't back down. Please, let's figure this out. She hesitates, her words failing her. I don't want to hurt you. You already have, I mutter. And it's true. She's been hurting me for years. All the little cuts, all the moments where she checked out, where I kept giving and giving, waiting for something in return. I take a deep breath, standing up. I can't keep doing this, Serena. It's not fair to either of us anymore. The decision has been made. I can't keep pretending. Either of us can. The divorce papers come through a week after Serena moves out. It feels surreal, like I'm watching someone else's life unfold, not mine. But it's mine, and I'm starting to feel the weight of what's ahead. The reality of it settles in like a heavy fog, but there's no turning back. We sit down together, Serena and I, and for once, there's no yelling, no blaming. It's as if the years of tension have finally boiled over into a calm acceptance. We agree on the basics: joint custody, shared responsibilities, and keeping the kids' lives as normal as possible. We both know it's not going to be easy, but for the first time in a long time, we're in agreement on one thing: the kids come first. There are no more awkward conversations about whether we'll fix things or work it out. There's no more wondering if there's a way back. This is it. We're separating, and I have to let go of the old version of us, the version that never existed the way I thought it did. I can feel the tension in my chest loosen a little with every step forward. The more I move through the motions of the divorce, the more I realize how much I've been holding on to: expectations, hopes, a future that never materialized. It's all gone now. And it's liberating. But it's also hard. Harder than I thought it would be. The kids are the hardest part. They don't fully understand, but they can feel the shift. Their little faces are a mixture of confusion and sadness, but they're resilient. They adjust faster than I give them credit for. They're happy when I'm around, engaged with them, giving them the stability I couldn't provide before. It hits me that they need me now more than ever, and I can't afford to slip into self-pity or regret. I have to be their anchor. Serena and I still talk, but it's more about logistics now. There's no animosity anymore, just the understanding that we're both trying to do what's best for our family, even if that means being apart. I focus on rebuilding myself. I go to the gym more regularly, not because I want to impress anyone, but because I need it. It's for me. I've spent so long neglecting myself, letting my confidence slip away, that I'm determined to reclaim it. It feels good to push myself physically, to feel my body grow stronger each day. It's not just about the physical transformation, it's about proving to myself that I'm capable of change. Therapy has become a constant in my life now, too. I spend time working through the emotional wreckage of the past. It's messy, but it's also cathartic. I learned to confront my patterns, to understand how I got to this point, and most importantly, to stop blaming myself. I didn't cause this marriage to fall apart. I wasn't the only one who didn't try. I can feel my confidence coming back. The man I thought I lost is slowly emerging again, but he's different now, stronger, more self-aware. I'm learning to take care of my own needs, to value my own worth, to know that I deserve respect and love, not just from others, but from myself. I start thinking about what comes next. The idea of being in another relationship isn't as daunting as it once was. In fact, there's a flicker of excitement. I'm not in a rush, but the thought of connecting with someone new, someone who values me the way I've always deserved, becomes a real possibility. I'm not defined by my past mistakes or the failures of my marriage anymore. I've learned, and I'm growing. I think about the future, and for the first time in years, I feel hopeful. I've got a long way to go, but I'm finally free of the chains I put on myself. I know the road ahead will have its challenges, but I'm not afraid of them anymore. I've got myself, and that's all I really need right now. And when I look at my kids, I know I'm on the right path. They see their father not as someone broken, but as someone who's rebuilding, and I want them to carry that with them. I want them to know that it's okay to start over, to grow, to change. I don't have all the answers, but I'm learning to trust myself again. The future is wide open, and for the first time in a long time, I'm excited to see where it leads.